Hey, Podnutzians, welcome to Android App Addicts episode 501. This is DoorToDoorGeek. This is probably going to be a shorter episode because it's just myself, and I. Just the three of us. Mark has work. He likes getting paid. He likes having a job and a career, so he's working. And Eric, I believe, had a work-related thing as well. So it's just me here tonight. I will say next week I'm going to be out of town. Family is going on the vacation. We decided this time of the year to not take it in the middle of the summertime, aka in the middle of the heat, and when every place is at its busyness. So we're going to take it next week. So there will be no AAA. If Mark and Eric would like to record something, I'm going to give them that opportunity, but I'm going to guess they're not. Just guess here. But if they do, we will publish it as soon as possible, which will probably not be until at least at the earliest um, Monday the 19th. Okay, we're going to go over a couple news stories here because I have no hardware news whatsoever. I'm still enjoying the Huawei Honor 8. Just a real quick tangent because that's what this show is all about. Um, this country has like a complete 180. Back in the 60s, 70s, the big movement was hippies, peace, love. And at the core of it, I believe there was a good amount of don't trust the government, which I will say skepticism to a certain degree is a healthy thing. Um, to have our government say to beware of Huawei phones when what I know of is zero actual evidence of Huawei phones being in any way manipulated, bad, unlawful snooping by any other government. But yet we have had instances of ZTE with unwanted wear on their devices, and at least another phone manufacturer, I can't remember who, and then we had that 1+1, company thing where they were, sending a little bit more traffic back to the home base than originally thought, which was immediately corrected. But I haven't heard anything on the global scale about any Huawei phones. I personally believe the government is being inspired to make such comments by lobbyists. These lobbyists are for either the big mobile carriers or more likely the big phone manufacturers, whether it be Apple, Samsung, Motorola, I don't know, LG, HTC, ZTE, I don't know. But I see no reason to not trust them any more, any less than any other phone carrier. If you are thoroughly and excitedly concerned about your privacy. I don't know if there's really any smartphone that I can immediately suggest. I do know that there was old operating systems that haven't been developed from what I know of for at least a year that were using actually completely free and open code. No, I'm not talking about cyanogen or lineage because that's not free and open. Um, but it's only available for very few select devices. Like the newest Samsung, I believe it supports, is literally the first Galaxy phone. But I believe the newest phone that those truly open platforms support is like Nexus 5, possibly. So if you are utterly concerned about privacy, I would seriously question any mobile phone usage whatsoever. For the rest of us who understand life is compromise, tech life is compromise, there is no clear, absolute black and white when it comes to privacy, security, and everything else. There's all kinds of shades of gray that we use every day. We decide on a turn by turn basis how secure do I have to be with X? How much privacy do I have to worry with Y? And I don't see any reason to not trust Huawei is what I'm gonna say. I might be proven wrong in 30 seconds from now. I might be proved wrong 3 years from now. I do not know. I do not claim to be all-knowing, but I do claim that I have a really damn good experience on my Honor 8, and it was a very affordable price. Um, the news segment is like, Android P developer preview has came out. I do believe it's only available for very few devices, AKA Pixel devices and, devices like that. I'm not hearing anything really substantial, monumental in this, release. It is a first release, so I don't expect them to really have their, a lot of things already, worked out, but it is a good preview, what I'm hearing. If you are thoroughly interested in this, I will encourage you, do not use this on your daily driver. Do not use this on your business phone. If you can go without a phone for a couple hours here or there, then you might want to give it a try, play around with it. I'm knowing Eric, he probably has downloaded this because he's Eric. And if any of you listeners out there have downloaded this and you have initial thoughts or ideas or impressions, do not hesitate. Shoot us an email at aaa@podnutz.com or send us a voicemail at 707-6-PODNUT. Let us know what you think. Um, the next bit of news is, it's really not news as far as I'm concerned, and I'm purposely bringing you this, bit of info from 9 to 5 Mac, 9 to 5 mac.com. Yes, 9 to 5 mac.com. There's been some kind of study done, and it says, Android tops iOS in loyalty survey. And the reason I think this is actually a little bit newsworthy is because I think a lot of people already have smartphones. The future fighting ground is going to be people who are switching. So are we going to have more people switching from A to B or B to A, kind of thing? I will say in a lot of households, the parents basically determine what the kids get. It's not really a question of price or whatever, because typically they get the old phone from the parents. So it's whatever they used. But when it comes to adults buying their own devices or kids with money who buy their own devices, I find it very little shocking that Android users are more loyal. The reason I say that is because in my anecdotal firsthand experience out in the real world, the populace of people with iPhones are either completely tech illiterate or grandparents or little children using iPads kind of thing. And I will say they are the most impressionable. And in fact, Apple even glorifies this tech ignorant perspective. I believe it was Apple in one of their commercials where the guy asked, "What are you doing on your computer?" And the girl says, "What computer?" And it's an iPad, I believe. Um, so they embrace the tech ignorantness of their user base. Android, I truly believe, encourages at least a certain amount of exploration, understanding, and learning. Of course, that's a biased belief and attitude I have, but I believe there is some truth to it. And at least this one study done um, shows that Android people are more likely to stick with their devices. As of it looks like, wow, ever since September 2014, it's basically been steady in their charts, charting this by CHIRP, CIRP. Uh, SERP. Since that date, around 2014, Android has enjoyed a higher user base of people sticking with their devices versus switching. It did get very close around June 2016, September 2016. But right now it's about 92% versus 87% people staying on their devices, with Android enjoying the 92% people staying on their devices. And to be honest, even though I don't like saying this, I think part of the reason is the s- um, similar nature between all of the Samsung devices. While they have been slowly removing TouchWiz type interfaces, experiences, they haven't been doing it drastically. When I look at my wife's phone from year to year, or from 2 years to 2 years for her, and I don't see big, huge, dramatic shifts. It always looks similar in nature, but there's just little things that, in my opinion, have gotten better. And with iPhone, I think the ever increasing cost has pushed some people away. But also, I do believe if someone learns about mobile devices and what you can and can't do with them, they are going to hit a glass ceiling much quicker on any iDevice than versus any Android device. Um, the only people I believe who are switching from Android to iOS are people with super low end devices that literally got it as a freebie by joining a network and then, seeing a low price or free iPhone from last year that will run substantially better. So they switch towards that. But anybody willing to spend a little bit of money, I do believe, for the last couple years have seen a pretty good Android experience. Um, Last piece of news here, it's basically Google Lens is coming to Android devices. This is an article I saw at Search Engine Land, one of the old faithful sites, in my opinion. I go to them quite frequently, even though they're completely ad ridden. Um, but Google Lens is coming to Android through a side door, is what they say. Basically, what it means is it's coming in as almost a silent update with your Google Photos. And for those who don't know what Google Lens is, if you have been listening to this show for a length of time, we were talking about years ago a thing called Google Goggles. It is essentially, from what I can tell, the same type of thing, just now embedded into the photo apps. And I'm sure it's upgraded and I'm sure it's better and I'm sure it's using machine learning, artificial intelligence, blah, 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 blah. Um, but it is a nicety, what I'm gonna say. Using Google Lens, you can either identify logos, artwork, images, or text in images, and it will do its best to see what it is and figure out what it is. The old one of the first things that was able to do was literally like look in pictures for just bacon and find you all the bacon pictures, for instance. Google Lens, I'm sure, is going to try to be doing better things than just finding bacon. As far as I'm concerned, that's a pretty damn good thing to do onto itself. But I will say you're going to have to open up your Google Photos to experience it, and so you might not even know it's there unless you go purposely looking for it. That's what I think what they're trying to get at. So it's coming in not through a dedicated app, but through another app, which I will say gives it the greatest chance and opportunity of success, only because it doesn't require any extra download or anything else, which is like one of the reasons why I believe Google Duo has been such a colossal failure on their platform because it requires people to go download something extra. If they would have merely made such a thing a new extension inside of Hangouts or Messages, I think they would have seen easily tenfold increase in the number of people using it day to day and downloading it. But that again is just my personal belief bias from what I see. I don't believe we really have any new emails because it's just me once in a while. I'm just gonna stop talking and be looking for stuff on my computer. Nope, does look like we do have at least one email here. Morten, long time Podnutzian, as far as I'm concerned. At least I believe this is a new email. Let me take it, copy it over here, and we can all look at it. People watching on YouTube, you can watch on our webpage, podnutz.com/live. Click Android App Addicts. You can watch the show live on Thursday evenings, Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock to normal time. Tonight I'm doing it 10. Here's the email. Dear Android App Addicts, I always thank you for your excellent show. I recently came across this article on Joplin, which is recommended as a Evernote clone. It is definitely a note-taking system which allows you to create notebooks, notes, to-dos, and you can do tagging, add files to the notes and to-dos. Formatting happens with Markdown, and Joplin can import a set of notes from Evernote. Now, I have tried many such apps, but have always had to sign up for some kind of service. Joplin has a desktop client for Linux, Windows, and Macs, and a mobile application on Android and iOS. Which makes Joplin interesting is that it will store the files locally on OneDrive, on WebDAV, and even Nextcloud. As a Nextcloud user, I am very pleased with such a self-hosted option. At at first, it seems simplistic, but it is actually very useful and usable. It is available from http semicolon slash slash Joplin dot coz or zic dot net. I've attached a couple screenshot from the desktop and Android app. Should I make one feature request, it would be the ability to customize the color themes, but it is a minor thing. All the best from Denmark, Morten. Um, A, if you can't say something bad about an item, then my logic is you haven't used it and you don't like it, because everything that you like, there's always something you can pick at. So to pick at a color theme is to me a good thing, because that means a lot of other things are working really good. And now for the uninitiated, what Morton means by self-hosted and Nextcloud and WebDAV is you can go to a service like DigitalOcean or one of the many places like Amazon EC2, and you can spin up your own operating system either on a public facing internet like that, or you can even host it inside your house and then open up holes in your router firewall and you can host it yourself. And you can have this application point as that as the place to store your media, your notes, your to dos, your images, your files, which I will say is a huge way of enabling end user freedom and purposely avoiding vendor lock-in. So to me, if a application enables such a thing, it means it better be a better app if you want to get a user base. Because if people have the ability to own the network themselves, own the app themselves, and own where the data is being stored themselves, there's going to be a little bit more of a barrier to entry. But you can use stuff like OneDrive, which is the Microsoft solution, and I'm sure there's other services you can use with it too. So I do like that idea, and I will say if it is using Nextcloud or has the ability to use Nextcloud, you can probably use on own cloud and a bunch of different services. Anything that supports WebDAV, probably. WebDAV is just a communication protocol, just like HTTP. It's just another way to connect to things over networks. I've never been a huge Evernote user, but I will say Evernote I know has grown a hell of a lot since I last used it years and years ago. It does a lot more things, and I will say tagging to me was one of the most important features I had in Evernote. It gave me an alternate way to organize, search, and find whatever documents, notes, and notebooks I would save and gather around. So I think that's a really good feature. I love the fact they have desktop clients on all three platforms. And that is a huge plus. No way around it. It's a huge plus. So I think I am going to give this at least a glance, at least a looking over. I'm not sure I'm going to use it for notes because I am right now still using Standard Notes, which is a privacy first solution with a web, Linux, desktop, Android, iOS um, client. Totally secure. If you forget your password, all your data is gone. But it is just notes. And I do believe it also uses Markdown language. I will say I'm not at all familiar with Markdown language, so I simply use it for just text notes, and I do not use it as much as I should. I will make sure there are links to this in the notes. To make sure I copy that over. Since it's just myself, it's a little difficult to do note taking during the show itself. Okay, I'm gonna go for a couple apps here. First app I'm gonna do, it's a throwback. Surprise, surprise. DoorToDoorGeek talking about stuff from back in the day. Um, the real reason I remember this one is I remember playing a game by the exact same title, I believe on the Super Nintendo. It might have been the Nintendo, the NES. And it is Romance of the Three Kingdoms. When I was a kid playing this game, I literally had no idea how to describe this game to anybody else. Um, Turn-based strategy combat game, like war simulator is what I would say. But it looks like this is a little bit more, a little bit deeper, a little bit broader, covers a little bit more scope. Besides having um, strategy-based boards where you pick your number of moves where you wanna go, then you pick your a attack, when to heal kind of thing. It does look like there's actually some, where you actually, like, walk around a town and talk to people is what I'm gonna say. Um, there's a video for it in the store. It's only 40 seconds long, and it does look like around the 10th second or so, you're actually walking around areas talking to people, and then hopping around 20 seconds where they actually show you battle scenes, and typically with these battles, it's not you versus one person. It's typically 10 of your people, if not more, against 10 or more of those other people. So there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different ways each battle can unfold. Um, I do like the idea of this. The app is by Nexon Company, Nexon Company. It is marked as a role playing game. T for Teen does have in-app purchases, looks like no ads. It's completely free to download, 4,630 reviews, average reviews 4.5, updated March 1st, 2018, between 100,000, 500,000 installs, current version 50422. Can't say I heard that before. Does have teen and violence ratings connected to it. And in almost non-surprising fashion, the in-app products range in price from 99 cents to $99.99, which I just gotta say is insane. So if you're a fan of turn-based strategy combat games, I encourage you to at least glance at this. It's completely free to download and test for yourself, so you can see, is this the kind of thing that you might be willing to look at? The next thing I'm going to bring is what I consider to be a crap app. Um, and if I am wrong, I'm encouraging people to email me, let me know. Um, this is called Joey for Reddit. A, I think it's a horrible name. B, I think the icon for the app is absolutely horrible. It's like a blue panda. It is like proud of it being ad free. I don't know what that means. Um, but this is a Reddit browser. So you open this app and you're basically browsing Reddit. Joey for Reddit, codes for living under news and magazines, mature 17 plus because it is Reddit. Let's be honest with each other. 3,419 reviews. Again, there is no in-app purchases. Looks like there's no um, ads either. So it's completely free. 4.9 average reviews. Updated March 2nd, 2018, installs between 10,000, 50,000. Version 1.4.9.3, mature 17 plus, because again, this is Reddit. Um, Here's the reason. The second screenshot, they taunt to me one of the worst features ever introduced to social media streams and feeds. On the first page, first screenshot, they say magazine style interviews for the Ask Me Anythings on Reddit. And I think that's a cool thing to have. But on the next screenshots, they tout that it auto plays GIFs and videos. What kind of drug are you smoking to where you think that's a good thing? If you're listening to music, if you're listening to podcasts, or if you're surrounded by other people, why on earth would you want videos to audio load? Okay. A lot of people out there are, I will say, if not bandwidth impaired, they're hyper aware of bandwidth because they have limits on it. So to automatically play videos is to me a very incompetent feature to tout. Frankly, I believe a lot of their reviews are either by fans of the company, fans of the person, or quite literally paid reviews because that makes no sense. Uh, I hear everywhere I look on the internet, everything I hear on the internet, whenever people talk about Facebook, they actively and openly complain about Facebook automatically playing ads. And then when another network enables that to be the default behavior to automatically play videos, everybody complains. The only people who don't complain about auto playing videos are the content creators of those videos or the people with the ads in those videos. Um, but with that said, that aside, the app does not look bad. But the simple fact that they tout automatically playing videos and GIFs, I have to say this is a dislike app. I am gonna still download it, play with it because I didn't have time with today, but I am going to be utterly, ridiculously shocked and surprised if this app stays on my phone for even more than a day or 2, to be very, very, very honest. Um, this is one I think that's only gonna be for a certain niche of people, but I know there are plenty of people out there who still like, listening to music and, dare I say, listening to the radio. I think this is internet radio, but so it's not completely what I would say radio. This is called Radiogram dash ad free radio unreleased. This is an unreleased app, so it might be unstable because it's an unreleased app. There is no price connected to it. There is no ads in it, and there is no in-app purchases in it. This is by radiogr.am. Good URL. Music and audio, E for everyone. There is no reviews again. Updated March 5th between 10,000 50,000 installs. No version number because it's still in beta kind of thing. Um, I will say I like the idea of this if you just want to discover other music. Um, but what I'm going to take a shot in the dark here by saying, and I am going to ask the wife to check this out. She's a radio lover and see what she thinks. But it does say it is free with no annoying adverts, no advertisements. I don't know why adverts is all of a sudden a acceptable word. You will not be interrupted with on screen banner pop up ads. Simply tap on the radio station and start listening. Thousands of radio stations in your pocket turn into the best music, sports, news, talk radio from all over the world. Okay, to republish other people's radio stations, my logic is if you don't have an utter agreement to do such a thing, I'm not sure how much this app is going to stay around. With that said, you will be listening to that independent radio station's ads, which means best case scenario, 40 minutes out of an hour, you're going to listen to the radio, and 20 minutes total, you'll be listening to ads. Now, if you listen to AM, I do believe it's almost closer to being the complete polar opposite. For every hour, 20 something minutes of actual content and 30 something minutes of ads. At least that's what it seems to me. Um, but if you want to just check out uh, networks all over the world, radio networks all over the world, this might be a good option. I will say I am not a radio person. I don't think I've ever been a radio person. So this app is definitely not for me. If you are a radio person, go ahead and give this a download, completely free to check out Radiogram, and just let us know how you feel. Again, you can shoot us an email at aaa@podnutz.com. This next one I'm going to bring is something I showed my son. He definitely, in the beginning, liked it, but then he also did uh, very quickly thereafter, at least to me, complain about the game, and he complained about the um, um, difficulty ramping up pretty quick. This is called Music Racer by Abstract Art. E for Everyone does contain ads, completely free to download, no in-app purchases, 13,700 reviews, 4.6 average reviews, updated March 8th between 100,000 and 500,000 installs. Current version 1.8 content rating, E for Everyone again. Abstract Art is the developer, which should tell you something. This is a very colorful, flashy game. The default vehicle you have is more like a bird flying, and you have to basically earn the cars. You have to earn the cars to use this game. Essentially, you are on a like light highway going down the road with 3 different lanes. You tap on the side to switch lanes. There is no tilt mechanic. There's only 3 lanes you can be in, so it's a very ABC kind of thing. There's no between the lanes kind of thing. Your basic goal is to avoid the pillars of red. You hit a pillar, you die, and pick up the little dots. Here's the thing that I honestly liked about the game, but I couldn't play it. When loading the game, you can load your own music files with it. So if you like downloading music to your phone and playing it on your playlist kind of thing, you can play this game, load your music. I do believe there is some thing happening in the game, depending on the music, depends on the path that you're traveling and the amount of obstacles and um, points you can get. Um, but I will say this game got hard for my son, especially when the track itself started going up and down a lot, side to side and stuff like that. It's no big deal, it's just side to side. But when you start going up and down a lot, it shortens your view distance, how far you can see. And once you're going so fast and the track is going up and down, it's definitely a little difficult to keep up with what's going on. I will say, in my personal opinion, this is a dramatically, graphically beautiful experience. Even though I do think it turned frustrating for myself because I played it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes on his phone. Um, Definitely frustrating game, but I will say I really, really love the graphics on this. They're not high end. I would not call them high end. I will call them retro modern. I'm gonna guess is what I'm gonna call it, something like that. But a really good looking game. If you have the twitch like reflexes kind of thing, this might be a really fun game for you to play on. To throw one more app out there, and it's the kind of app I threw to my maker friends. I want to see what they thought of it. I haven't heard anything positive back yet. I did hear a lot of initial apprehension is the nicest way I'm gonna put it. This is called D3D Sculptor, 3D modeling by Naticus. Productivity app, E for everyone, does contain ads, does have in-app purchases, completely free to download and play with, 1,782 reviews, 3.4 average reviews, dated March 6, 2018, between, again, 100,000 and 500,000 installs. We have said that number a lot tonight. Between 100,000 and 500,000 installs, current version 43. That sounds a lot. Um, Content rating E for everyone, in-app purchases 5.99 per item. That to me sounds moderately steep. Um, the best way I can say this is a 3D modeler in the sense of Blender. And what I mean by that is the word I always hear when people make things in Blender is they're very organic kind of thing. Where with a lot of the 3D designing software I've used in the past, they're very geometric. You first make shapes, then you extrude out. And this to me looks more like a Blender kind of thing where you can mash shapes, stretch shapes, and you can put texture and maps and bitmaps on faces. So I think of this as being a very low Blender like tool. I do not expect anything like CGI Hollywood to be able to come out of this type of application. I do expect some people could probably do some pretty interesting things in this app, but um, this is not a Hollywood grade special effects studio or a full immersive 3D desktop like environment to do uh, design and manufacturing. I do think it's a cool place to play around, experiment, see what you can do, see what you can come up with. And then if you do have a 3D printer, possibly, export this out and see what you can do, see what you can make. I do think there's certain organic designs, is what I'm going to say again, that this could work pretty well for. But if you're into more block building, Lego building, wallets kind of thing, um, um, transformers, this might not be the best tool, but if you're for a lot of curves and a lot of rounded edges and a lot of things like that, this could be a cool thing. Um, you can you can import from OBJ, which I know is one of the bigger types of files. It also gives you the option, I believe, to export, in both OBJ and STL. In the world of making, STL and OBJ, I do believe, are the 2 most popular ones. So at least it's compatible with other systems. The big logic to me is you might be able to use this while on the go, get an idea started, then export it into your full desktop solution and actually work on the final product kind of thing. Um, that's all the apps I'm going to bring for this evening. I will say thank you to everyone again for their support. I do not believe we had any new Patreon subscribers since our 500 episode. So I just want to take this opportunity again to say thank you to everybody. If you are one of the higher Patreon AAA subscribers, Eric did put an offer out there. If you want anything designed and 3D printed off, he would do his best to make it happen. Um, I'm going to try to do a Patreon posting here before I go for the week, and just remind people of that, but don't hesitate. You can shoot us an email at aaa@podnutz.com. If you do have an idea for something to be printed off, and I will communicate with Eric, I will make sure he gets that message. I want to thank everyone for downloading, remind everybody you can go to podnutz.com. You can check out all the other shows. We do have a whole bunch of different shows on the network, everything from computer repair to like a personal diary that I do, everything in between. If you are a fan of Podnutz Pro, I will remind people check it out. Matt Rainey is coming back on again when he has time, so there are here and there. I will say Marvin B never did podcast before he started doing AAA. He was on Podnuts a couple times here and there. Um, he is quickly growing, in my personal opinion, to be one of the more entertaining podcast hosts that I listen to. He's definitely a smart guy. He definitely has a lot of experience on his side, and he's really getting good at explaining the story of what happens when he gets to a client's place, how everything unfolded, and how he came to his solution to get things up and running what he considers to be the right way. If you're at all interested in becoming a advanced technician, that's the kind of show I encourage you to listen to, and make sure you send emails into at podnutspro@podnutz.com. They are really smart and they really do like helping people. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thanks everyone for their support. And we will talk to everyone again in about a week. Oh, 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks. Okay. On this week's Android App Addicts, DoorToDoorGeek goes over some Android news, brings a couple apps in that are very reminiscent of NES days, at least one completely crap app. And what a surprise, another retro looking game, but this time a little bit more modern on this week in Android App Addicts. And that seemed way too long. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that was way too long. Oh, yeah, it was way too long. So, delete. This week on Android App Addicts, Eric has to work, Mark has to work, Door talks about some news. Surprise, surprise, Android people are more loyal. And another big surprise, Door brings some retro apps. Okay, file, save, project as. Phew, man, almost asleep. Save project, expand view. Looks good. Export audio. Or bang, bang. Okay, now over here. Make sure the audio gets onto the other server. Yeah, can't believe I typed that right. Raw, cloud, AAA, Lunar, documents. It's already there. Okay, F5. Copy over there. Dang, now it's quick. We can delete that. We can delete that. We can delete that. We can close. We can close. We can close that. We can close that. Okay, now come here, sort that, copy that, sort by date, sort by date again. What am I missing? Oh, there it is right there. B 501. Come up here. Start the upload to YouTube. I should have done that. I should have done this first. Dashboard. Select files. Come back down here. Go all the way down there. Click that. And I gotta come over here and say edit. Control C. Control V. Control C. Control V. But now I really got to document the apps. I'm gonna put the news links in there as well. A bad job of doing that during the show. Okay, first one. Mm-hmm. Hmm? Why ain't you highlighting? There you go. Up, you little. Come on now. Control C. Control V. Bang, bang. Control V. Hard return. Delete. Control V. Control V. Control V. Control V. Okay, now get these apps. Come here. Come there. Come there. Now paste. Paste. They're all gonna be me. So actually no, Jordan. I gotta put his link there too. That would be quite incompetent of me if I don't put his in there. Okay. Copy. I do believe everything I brought was free. Bang. Wait for Reddit. It's a down mark. Post. else? Well, I'm gonna say I like Radiogram, but I do think it's slightly false advertising saying ad-free radio, 'cause radio is packed tight with ads. Yeah, I think that the radio with the wife makes me utterly believe I could never, would never be a radio DJ. They shill entirely too much. And sometimes it's painfully obvious they don't actually believe in something. They're paid to talk about it. Keep thinking I was really good at what I was doing. But have some kind of system in place where I just copy a URL onto a thing and it does all the documentation of the app all by itself. Alas, I do not have that. Nobody to blame but myself. Okay, now I gotta make sure I document Morten's app. But first, re-bookmark everything I did not bring. Log in, man. Oh, man. Ah, file. Install. Add. Bang. Okay, so now. Yeah, gotta check that one out. I'm gonna kill the live stream here in a couple seconds, or else I cannot finalize this video with all the apps and extra links. Oh, dummy. Now, Joplin. Oh, yep, 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 yep. Google Play. There we go. So now, Joplin. I think I've actually heard of this in the past. I don't know why it didn't stick with me. Change that. Morten, I believe. If I'm wrong, I am dumb. paste, delete, change it, email. That should be the last app. Show apps. Yep. Okay, so now damn it, I forgot to do the app rundown. Why am I not shocked? Okay, now first, open up this, paste all that in, Control H, search and replace, search and replace again, Control C, Control V, bang, bang. Now I'm going to copy it back so I got it right there. Oh yeah, that's it. This it's being wow, it's already done uploading. That was short. We're gonna to an unlisted, not added to playlist, but we do change the artwork to that, to that, to that. Let it save. Okay, now before I close it, I go to Patreon. Post video. Post title. Post body. Patreon only. Set early access. 4 days. And it's literally like no search engine. It's literally like some kind of active fighting back is what I'm gonna say. Um it seems like a lot of search engines go out of their way to not search Patreon, it seems like. But my alerts, things like Android app addicts, I do not see new instances of my search results because it's like it's actively being ignored because they don't want you to go there. I don't know. Dashboard. So why did that not get saved right? Yeah, it didn't get saved right. So let's try it again. Let's try to change that thumbnail. Custom thumbnail. Bang. Save. Okay. Edit. Control C. Delete. Mark that out. Try to add it back. Better. Publish now. Okay, I'm going to kill the live stream. Hey, Charles, thank you for coming out. Sorry, it is unbelievably difficult for me to try to read something and talk at any time. I literally got to stop for seconds and seconds to read anything. Don't have Oreo yet. Yeah. Oh, don't, I don't even think I do either. I can't remember. That's how much I can tell. I can't remember. Yeah. There is certain things with the pixels I will say look nice, but I just can't begin to justify that dollar amount. Phew, man. Okay, so let me just make sure this got fixed right. Bang. Okay, it did. All right, I'm going to kill the stream. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching also.